The river was going backwards. The heron noticed it first and quickly took off in flight, to somewhere else. My eyes followed the bird up through the air, over my head, around the bend in the river, and out of sight. It was the same one which always stood at the far end of the weir, his feet submerged, grey shoulders hunched, his head peering down into the rolling water for fish or other things. It flew silently, as if on mute, its large wings propelling it upwards and forwards, away from me and from the weir. Once it had gone, my eyes lingered on the empty air for a while, up by the tops of the trees. Everything there felt still. I watched my breath rise in thick and steamy plumes above my head like a warm fog, and, behind it, the thin, distant clouds which dissipated slowly like the hour hand of a clock. A crow flew across the sky, across the clouds. It cawed noisily as it grew higher and smaller like a black balloon, moving in the same direction as the heron. And the noise of an airplane somewhere began to grow. Quietly at first, then louder, a disembodied grumble, the plane too far to see. I felt the ground beneath my feet, beneath my shoes. The loose gravel, the soft earth, the dwindling root of a nearby tree which emerged from the dark underground up through the cracks in the dirt path and into the light. I saw it then, and at first I couldn't tell what was wrong. The water looked not much different than it did when it was flowing forwards. The light from the cold and far-off sun played on its surface, twinkling like aluminium foil. The trees above and behind it shifted gently in a chilled winter breeze which blew in from the north, from what had been upriver once, though that had changed. I felt it first. It was like a waterlogged ear. Everything felt one-sided, the balance of things off-kilter. I tipped my head to straighten it out, to correct the water which flowed the wrong way in front of me. But then the feeling spread, becoming heavier, a numbing weight like warm, sodden clothes. I saw a large yellow leaf in the water approach the bottom of the weir and jump up it like a salmon, followed by other loose debris. The wind picked up then, buffeting my cheeks and throwing my hair into my face and eyes, which I shut tightly. Behind me somewhere a dog started barking. Its sounds were strange and rough and frantic like a sick cough. I heard its claws scrabbling in the dirt, its metal chain scraping on the ground, no longer tethered to its owner. And then another dog joined in, and then another still, these ones further away. I opened my eyes again and turned to face the river. The water was churning backwards, pushing at the bottom of the weir from below like a frantic, stampeding crowd. Shopping bags and cans and packaging and bits of wood and plastic rushed towards the Royal, where they submerged and resurfaced and submerged and resurfaced again and again and again in a strange loop, forming a jagged mass which scraped and grated at the brickwork of the weir. I closed my eyes again, turning my head away. I felt something inside me begin to change, and in the blackness of my eyes, I saw the heron in a dark, anonymous, featureless place somewhere, unmoving, its eyes open, its beak shut. I closed my eyes harder. And that's when I heard it. Something new. Something I hadn't ever heard before. The sound of this place, the static background noise of the river, was changed. It's hard to describe. I guess it was no longer the sound of water plus weir plus gravity, but the sound of a different kind of law, which was strange, as if the river's silence had been replaced by a soft, barely audible ringing, or its babble turned inside out. I covered my ears to silence it, and like that I stayed for a while, in a muffled blackness, until I became cold. The wind brushed against my hands and my cheeks, and wrapped itself around my shivering body. I tried to remember my life before this day. I opened my eyes again and uncovered my ears, and all was as it was before. I stood there silently and still, my eyes fixed on the ground, averted from the river. I listened to the dogs get quieter and quieter until they were gone.